Hey, what is up, guys? Thomas Park here, back with another video. Today, I'm going to be doing a comparison between two popular VPN providers, that being ExpressVPN and private internet access. Now, both these VPNs offer a lot of features and they kind of claim it all, but in today's comparison, we're going to compare things like pricing, servers, privacy policy, application performance, speeds, and to help you decide which is the best VPN for you to decide to use and purchase with your own hard-earned money or Bitcoin, or credit card, or gift card. or credit card. First things first, we are talking about price. Now, ExpressVPN starts off at $12.90 a month, while private internet access starts off at $6.95 a month. ExpressVPN is $59.95 for 6 months. Private internet access is around $35.95 for 6 months. Now, ExpressVPN is going to be $99 a year, and private internet access is going to be $39.95 for 1 year. So as you can see from this little comparison here, private internet access is much cheaper than ExpressVPN. Now, ExpressVPN is almost double the price, or even more than double the price for a yearly purchase, and for most other plans. So private internet access definitely here is the winner if you're on a budget or just want the cheapest VPN. Now, besides the basic pricing plans, there are some other things to consider when thinking about either one of these VPNs in terms of pricing. Now, ExpressVPN does give you a 30-day refund policy, which is longer than private internet access's 7-day refund policy. However, private internet access does also include more options for payment, like gift card payments, whereas ExpressVPN is more limited to traditional options along Bitcoin. I think you can make a decision here which one you want to use based on price. Private internet access is cheaper. ExpressVPN has a longer refund policy. Private internet access has more options for payment, while ExpressVPN is more traditional with its forms of payments, but it does include cryptocurrency. All right, guys, now we're going to take a look at which application is better, that being private internet access or ExpressVPN. Here you go. You got two apps here. Private internet access kind of likes to hide down more in the taskbar. For day-to-day use, you can connect to a server like that just by clicking your taskbar and connecting. Pretty simple, pretty minimalistic. However, when you go to the settings, this is what it's going to look like. Um, you have your simple but advanced connection options here. Everything I like to see here, a particular cool thing about private internet access that you don't really see too often is the private internet access mage feature, which blocks ads, trackers, and malware. So it's kind of like a double bonus while using private internet access. Cool thing is they don't charge more for that. Additionally, they have kill switches, DNS link protection, all these kind of things that are essential to a VPN that I consider top tier. Now, you're not going to see a lot of these features with lower tier VPNs on my ratings, but yeah, like here, you can customize the servers. Pretty good option here, really. A lot of US servers, a lot of servers actually in California. Good language options here. Another cool thing is that you can customize the data encryption. You don't see that too often. So if you're streaming or something like that, or you're gaming and you want less of a speed decrease, you could change it to AES 128. Same with the SHA authentication and handshake. Additionally, you could change that as well. But the default settings, you can see. Yeah, so that's basically private internet access in a nutshell. Pretty good app, definitely top tier in terms of my VPN ratings. Now here we go. We have ExpressVPN. Right off the bat, I want to note that ExpressVPN is super simple to set up. You don't need to really get your password and username like with private internet access. You just copy a link and put it in the app, and it just kind of logs you in after you purchase ExpressVPN. So that's really cool. Definitely noob friendly. Now here we go. We have some of the options and settings here. We have basic things. We do have a kill switch, which is good to see. They actually implemented that within the last year or so. Unlike private internet access, we actually have a little bit more control over some of the protocol options, which is actually pretty cool. Um, with an account, basic things here. You do have the browser extension download. You could put it on your browser extension, which is cool. Um, and advanced, just pretty much some DNS and IP link protection. So what is the difference here really? Well, you can see the service here as well. Looks like pretty decent amount of servers. You got those servers and stuff like that. As you could see, let's kind of compare the servers here. Pretty similar, places, pretty similar server network. Now, in my test, we'll be talking about speeds later on, but I think private internet access servers are a little bit better sometimes. But ExpressVPN might give you more success in a place like China or something like that. A lot of people like to use ExpressVPN in China, although I prefer using TorGuard. Seems like it's unblocked in a lot of regions compared to ExpressVPN, which might be a little bit more popular in China. But anyways, not going too off topic. ExpressVPN is pretty much simple. You're just going to connect with this, and unlike private internet access, you go down the taskbar and you can kind of save it here and get rid of it. But ExpressVPN, private internet access, which one has the better app? Well, I think ExpressVPN does have more options with the protocol customization, but private internet access has a little bit more control over the ciphers and settings as you saw there. Let's bring that up once again. So you're going to have more options with encryption customization. Additionally, you're going to get that ad blocker and stuff like that. Kill switch is pretty much the same. The rest is pretty much similar with the auto connection features and stuff like that. But overall, I would say these apps are pretty close together. Maybe private internet access has a slight advantage with the ad blocker feature. I would say it's about a tie for now, but both the apps are going to have small disadvantage, small advantage. You decide which one you like better, which features you value more. Now we're going to look at some of the speed tests I've done in the past. This is just reliable since I have a login here. We have a ping of 23 ms for private internet access and a pretty good speed, as you can see, download rate around 161. Keep in mind, I do have a really good computer and fast internet. So if you have a slower computer or slower internet, you might get slower speeds and stuff like that. But overall, very good. Not much effect on your connection here for your speed test. Now, I'm talking about the speeds right here, but we're going to look at as well as what kind of torrent speed you're going to be able to get with private internet access. Just downloading a sample Ubuntu file here, see what kind of download rates we're going to get. As you can see, it's pretty quick here, going up megabytes per second pretty quickly once this torrent starts. And it's going to be a pretty good speed ending out at around, so you can see it's around 3.8, 3.7 or so. But yeah, it's pretty good speeds here for downloading torrent files. So I went ahead and tested out ExpressVPN as well within the same week or so, testing out the speeds around the same time. And the ping I got was actually significantly higher than private internet access for this speed test. Now it's around 78 ms, and the download rate was actually significantly slower as well. But in terms of the real world kind of torrent test with the Ubuntu file, I actually got some better speeds with ExpressVPN in this test than private internet access. So I would say this section is about a tie as well, although I've managed to get a little bit better speeds with private internet access as a whole with multiple tests. In terms of servers, they both have a good amount to choose from, as you saw from my app selection. They both had a good amount of servers, 148 VPN locations for private internet access, and ExpressVPN has a good amount as well. Pretty much anywhere in the world you're going to want to connect, you're going to have pretty much good options with both of these VPN providers. So what about the website? Who has the better website out of these two VPN providers? Well, ExpressVPN's website is pretty simple, and they give you reasons to use their VPN, and they have a decent amount of information on the front page as well. 30-day money back guarantee, remember that. Additionally, I really like that ExpressVPN has live chat. That's good to see, and it seems to be pretty responsive when I've tested it out and things like that. So what about private internet access's website? Well, it's a pretty good website as well. One thing I don't really like about the website is it does kind of show your IP address on top, just kind of trying to kind of scare you into using a VPN. But the rest of the website's pretty simple. One thing is they do kind of have a lot of clutter. Um, and the main page, like you can see, it just has like bicycles on it. Not really sure like why that's like the whole logo or branding scheme of private internet access. I've always just kind of found it weird, and they've really had this image on there for a long time. All right, guys. So now that we have kind of gone over a lot of the things about these two VPNs, let's do a comparison here, kind of wrapping it up and kind of collecting some of our thoughts together and making a final verdict. So as you can see here, ExpressVPN is rated lower than private internet access on my website. And here are some of the reasons why. Well, ExpressVPN, it does kind of have slow speed sometimes. It did get a better torrent speed in my live test here, but the speed tests are kind of slower, and overall, I've just found private internet access to be more reliably fast than ExpressVPN. But let's start from the beginning right away. We have pricing. Private internet access does have a better pricing policy than ExpressVPN. It's going to be cheaper all around. That said, ExpressVPN does have a better refund policy. Private internet access does have more payment options. Now, software between these two VPN providers is pretty similar, although I do think that private internet access's main solution is pretty cool and unique. Mobile software is good from both VPN providers. I think private internet access does have a little bit more in the extra services department because it does have more connections than ExpressVPN. Now, in this VPN review, I still need to update it. It does have three simultaneous connections now. ExpressVPN, they went ahead and upped that since my first review of ExpressVPN. But private internet access does have that ad blocker. It does have the similar things like proxy extensions and things like that. So I think it does have a slight advantage there over ExpressVPN. Now, I do think ExpressVPN's website is a bit better than Private Internet Access's. Private Internet Access's website, depending on the pricing scheme or the sale going on, it can be a little bit misleading on what you're paying for. And additionally, the website kind of has a lot of clutter and kind of weird branding images with the bikers and things like that. Whereas ExpressVPN's website is a bit more simple. Now, ExpressVPN and Private Internet Access are pretty comparable with their servers. Both have pretty good server options, and both the privacy options here are pretty good. I didn't touch on that too much, but both offer the best encryption, 256 AES, pretty good SHA encryption, and they have pretty good privacy policies. They don't really collect logs, and they kind of don't really collect anything that's non-essential for operating their VPN service. Now, ExpressVPN, in my review, I was a bit harsh on their speeds, just because speed tests can vary. A lot of their service can be kind of wacky sometimes, and your speeds are going to kind of vary. You can get decent speeds with ExpressVPN, but I've just found that private internet access overall has more reliable speeds. Now, in terms of support, both services are kind of equal here. ExpressVPN does have a slight advantage with the live chat, so they give it a slight advantage there. Private Internet Access used to actually support live chat, and they don't any longer, so that's kind of gone downhill a little bit. But I found that Private Internet Access's support is pretty good, and they both kind of compare similarly, although ExpressVPN might have a slight advantage with the live chat feature. So overall, I think that as a whole, pricing package here, private internet access has that the most significant advantage in that department. Software is pretty similar. Speeds are going to be a little bit better with private internet access as well. You're going to get a little more bang for your buck for those extra services. You get more simultaneous connections, and you have that private internet access ad blocker within the app. However, I do want to caution you at the end of this review that while private internet access is probably all around the better choice than ExpressVPN, mainly due to better overall package for the price. I think that ExpressVPN does have a little bit more leeway in places like China. It might work a little bit better there, and they do seem to be working with Netflix sometime. Check out my latest ExpressVPN live chat. Check out my latest ExpressVPN live test with Netflix to see more info about that. But anyways, my name is Tom Spark, logging out of this ExpressVPN and private internet access comparison. I hope you found the right VPN for you. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments down below.